what if I told you Jeep Stellantis is gonna bring out a fix for the heavy duty SUV market that's been gone for over 20 years? Let me show you. What are we looking at here? We're looking at an 8-lug wheel on a 2026 Ram 2500. You might be asking, why are we looking at this? This vehicle's been out for a while, new powertrain. Let's take a look at this. See this? 6-lug wheels, standard on most half-ton vehicles. REEV plug-in hybrid is running an 8-lug wheel. Why? Because it's gonna be a heavier vehicle with the dual powertrains. But what if Jeep had a surprise for everybody that no one even sees coming, and they have a heavy-duty version with more payload? Because the problem with most half-ton SUVs, not just the Jeep, it's the Tahoes, the Yukons, the Expeditions, all of them. Big SUV like this, even though it's a big full-size SUV, and even though it's got a 10,000 pound tow rating, you're gonna be lucky to get 1,500 pounds of payload, which is fine for people that don't tow or need a lot of payload. But if you wanna put a 10,000 pound trailer behind this thing, and you need a family of 4 with some dogs, you're gonna be out of payload capacity. This is why people go from Ram 1500s to Ram 2500s, because a lot of times that's not necessarily tow rating, it's payload rating. Trucks like these Ram 2500s here, on a low side, would have anywhere between 1,900 and 2,000 pounds of payload rating. And in some cases, you might get above 3,000 pounds of payload rating. This is only gonna be something you're gonna be interested in if you're towing heavy or using your vehicle in a maxed out payload configuration. Just show you guys further proof, we got the Bronco Raptor today. See the payload? 1,059 pounds. Now granted, this is just a Bronco Raptor. You're not gonna be towing a lot with this, but the payload on this is not a whole lot different than you would see on a Wagoneer or Grand Wagoneer. But yeah, this only has a 4,500 pound tow rating, where those have a 10,000 pound. One of the most sought after SUVs still to this day is the Ford Excursion. They basically took a Ford Super Duty, put an SUV body in the back, added a 3rd row, dropped the GVW to meet passenger car requirements, but gave you the running gear and suspension of a heavy-duty vehicle. What if Jeep is basically saying, we're gonna give customers this, and we're gonna give customers what they want? Hey guys, Barry from CTech-review. I wanna talk about 2 things today. Is Jeep finally doing and answering the call that Ford left us all hanging for the last 20 years? When Ford got rid of the Excursion in 2005, there were a lot of people really bummed out, myself included. A heavy-duty 3-row SUV, 3/4 ton running gear. Still to these days, these Ford Excursions bring big money. But is Jeep gonna give people this for, say, 2026? Well, if you look over on Jeep.com, it looks like it might have some of the running gear. An 8-lug rim on a full-size SUV, that's 3/4 ton territory. Secondly, we're gonna compare pricing of the 2025 Grand Wagoneer and Wagoneer versus the 2026 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. State of the end, there's gonna be a lot of details, but I think from what I'm seeing so far, everything looks good. It's opposite of what we're seeing across the board. Prices up, content down, consumer, you get screwed. I'm not seeing this for this 26 Jeep Grand Wagoneer, and it's just so refreshing to see. It's been such a frustrating time for the last 4 or 5 years, where every single vehicle, I swear, across all manufacturers, prices up, content down, quality down, recalls up. Terrible. Have we turned the tide with the 2026 Jeep Grand Wagoneer? It sort of looks like this might be the case. Let's get into this. All right, first thing I want to talk about, I don't want to belabor this all that much, but I want to show you guys something. So if we go over to Tim Esterall's, he's got a pretty good article. Definitely check it out. But a lot of the focus is talking about the new E-REV. If you're not familiar with the term, and there's so many different ways people like to call this. They call it an electric vehicle. I don't really like calling that, because it's really not an electric vehicle, because it still has a gas engine. But I like to logically call it a plug-in hybrid. Everybody's got their name for it. But anyhow, it's a plug-in hybrid basically, and it's the exact same technology as the REV or the Ram Charger. Forget the nomenclature. It's not really important. But what I want to show you guys is, people have been talking about this for a minute, and these guys are right. You notice this right here. Do a little count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. An 8-lug rim. They're going to run the same running gear underneath the Ram pickup truck as they would the Jeep Wagoneer or Grand Wagoneer because it's same platform. Makes sense, right? So this is where the 647 horsepower is going to come from, and E-REV, which is very cool, and I think people are excited about that. But more so than a plug-in hybrid truck, how does the pricing compare? So if we look at the customer preferred order code guide for the 2026 Grand Wagoneer, we can go through all the different options and you can kind of look at how the pricing works on this. Kind of see the destination charge. It very much aligns with what we've seen on the Ram 1500 truck. See the 2595. But here's what I really want to show you guys. These are some different options and you can pause, go back, look at this information, but you'll be able to kind of see the different pricing information. But what I'm really excited to share with you guys is this. So this is where it all starts, the Grand Wagoneer package 4x4. You see an MSRP of, what is that, $65,145. And then you see on the far right-hand side where it says Upland. So you can kind of see where it says 26V right next to the Grand Wagoneer is the Upland package. So the Upland package is what is replacing the outgoing Wagoneer Overland package. But you can kind of see all these standard features from what I've seen so far. And I've looked this thing over, this document, several times. It looks to be exactly the same as the outgoing 25 Wagoneer Overland, except there's a few nuances. Nuances are you get the refresh front end, back end. But the pricing, see this option, what is that, $6,900? MSRP $72,140. Add together the destination of $25,995 up top, get you about $74,735. We're going to start here. So to compare, I went on Jeep.com and built a 2025 Wagoneer Overland. I picked the free option for paint, which is white. I didn't select one single option in the 2025. We have an estimated net price of $74,835. There's no rebates at this time of doing this video, $74,835. So it's $100 more in 2025 than the 2026 Grand Wagoneer. I get it, guys. It's the exact same vehicle, but there's going to be enough people out there that believe the Grand Wagoneer is worth more money for 2026 than the Wagoneer, even though it's literally just the name. But it's $100 less. That's a good thing. We're not seeing 3, 4, 5, 10% inflation like we're seeing with other vehicles. So we go now to the next model. We're going to go to the highest level, Reserve Obsidian. We add all this up, we get $98,795 plus $2,500. We'll call it $101,000 for the Grand Wagoneer. Now we look at the Obsidian Series 3. Haven't even selected an option. We're at $109,000 for 2025. Right off the bat, we haven't even included destination. We're at $111,000. It's $13,000 less versus the Reserve Obsidian for 2026. So there's obviously a bunch of nuances and changes and options and everything. But if there's something we can go and look at, is look at the nomenclature of the Grand Cherokee, and you're going to see anniversary editions, Trailhawk, Overland, Summit, Summit Reserve. You can kind of see that's how the trim levels work. We're seeing some things like that also with this new Grand Wagoneer. But what I'm trying to show you is from what I'm seeing so far, is that the pricing actually looks to be a little bit better, a little more attractive for 2026 for the Jeep Grand Wagoneer than the outgoing model, which is great for all of us. If you're in the market for a full-size SUV, from what I'm seeing, it's going to be a better value for 2026. But for 2026, there's a big caveat to this. At the time of doing this video, a high output engine option has not been mentioned yet as a powertrain option. Some people believe that engine could come back. Some people believe it could be a 6.4 liter. There's also a lot of data to support we're going to get a 647 horsepower hybrid E-REV technology. That's the one I'm most excited about because it's going to have a lot of power and it's going to get good fuel economy. It's gonna be smooth. It's gonna be a pretty neat option. Plus the fact of an 8-lug wheel with, if it comes with payload capacity numbers like the Ram 1500, Ram Charger, Rev, whatever naming, this thing could technically be the Excursion that what people wanted from the last 20 years. Seriously, wrap your mind around this. 2,600 pounds of payload in a 14,000 pound tow rating in a Ram 1500. These are 3/4 ton specs in a Ram 1500 pickup truck. This exact same platform with this same powertrain, see the 8-lug wheels? Put this on a Grand Wagoneer platform and you might have the next gen Ford Excursion in a hybrid. If they add that to a Grand Wagoneer, man, this is going to be awesome. And a lot of people are going to be really stoked to see this. So as more information comes out on this new Grand Wagoneer, I'll definitely be sharing with you guys, you know, what I know. What I'm excited about, guys, if I've got this figured out correctly, this looks like you're going to get more bang for the buck for 2026. And we haven't seen this in a while. And I really hope this is the case. And if Jeep Stellantis does this correctly, and if there's a chance we could get over a 2,000 pound payload capacity in a full-size SUV, and maybe we get really lucky and get like, say, 11, 12,000 pounds of tow rating, Jeep's not going to have a competitor in the market in this space for a full-size SUV. This will be the Ford Excursion that we wanted for the last 20 years for capability of tow rating and payload capacity, and now potentially power. So I hope it happens, because there's not a competitor in this space. And there's a lot of people that have a family of 4, a family of 5, and they got a really big travel trailer or a really big boat, or they've got something else super heavy that they're traveling distance with family and need all of that. This might be in a league of its own. Hey guys, leave your comments down below. I'd be curious, what do you think about this? Am I crazy by thinking this is potentially an HD full-size SUV that we haven't seen in a long time? Or do you think this thing will just get brought down to a level that it's really going to be the same specs as a regular full-size SUV? And am I missing something on the pricing here? Because what I'm seeing right now, it's looking pretty solid. I'll tell you why I think they're going to do it. Look what Stellantis did with the TRX back in 2021. Ford invented the off-road truck long travel suspension with the F-150 Raptor, but they went away from the V8. Everybody wanted a V8. What did Ram do? All right, guys, we'll give you what you want. They made the TRX. It was wildly popular, awesome truck. Gives you the Hellcat engine, off-road capability. They answered the market. Is Jeep and Stellantis going to do this again? There's people like myself and other families out there that have a full-size SUV, but they need 2,000 to 2,500 pounds of tow rate or payload capacity. They also would like that 9,000, 10,000 pound tow rating to pull their boat up north, camper up north, go hunting. They need something more heavy duty. This might be the ticket. So I'd like to get your guys' thoughts. What do you think if Jeep made a heavy duty SUV with more payload capacity? It's going to be 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds, 647 horsepower. The torque's going to be awesome. Dude, this is everything we had in the Excursion back in the day. More horsepower, more torque, better fuel economy. I don't know, I could be crazy, but I think this will be wildly popular. Leave your guys' comments down below. I'm curious what you think. Would you be interested in a Jeep heavy-duty Grand Wagoneer? Hey, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.